Are you ready?
In the Scottish Highlands, Jimmy sits with his sisters and cousins watching television. Suddenly, a siren wails outside. Their aunt quickly shuts the door and warns the children not to move. Fear rises as the kids hear chaos breaking out around the house. Jimmy runs to the door, calling for his father. Before he can get an answer, the door begins to rattle violently. It bursts open, and zombie-like creatures, known as the infected, storm inside. They pounce on the girls, tearing into them while Jimmy hides unnoticed behind the door. Seizing the moment, Jimmy escapes, only to witness his mother being devoured in another room. As he runs through the house, he sees his relatives one by one turning into infected. Somehow, he manages to slip out of the building. Outside, more infected roam the area, so he rushes to the church, desperate to find his father. Inside, the priest doesn't see the infected as monsters. To him, this is Judgment Day, and those taken by the virus are saved. He hands Jimmy his gold cross and tells him to keep faith. Just then, the infected smash through the windows. Jimmy runs, but his father stays, convinced he too must be saved. The creatures overwhelm him, biting until he turns into one of them. This outbreak is the result of the rage virus. While the rest of Europe has pushed it back and sealed off the UK, the islands have become a wasteland where survivors must fight to live. Nearly 3 decades later, a group of survivors has built a safe community on Lindisfarne Island, protected by the tidal causeway that separates it from the mainland. Here, a boy named Spike is about to learn how to kill his first infected. His father, Jamie, is preparing breakfast when his sick wife, Isla, collapses in the bedroom. They rush to help her, and she grows distressed upon hearing Spike's training will begin today. After an argument, she calms, though her fading memory often leaves her lost and confused. Back in the kitchen, Spike meets Sam, who gives him a brand new bow as a gift. On their way out of town, villagers cheer Spike on, wishing him good luck. At gate, Jenny reminds him of the rule: anyone who leaves may return, but no rescue missions will ever be sent. Too many lives have been lost already. Crossing the causeway, Jamie tells his son stories of the old world. Spike finds it hard to believe people once lived far from the sea. Together they make their way across a bridge into a forest, always listening for signs of danger. At last, they come across a crawling infected, a bird perched calmly on its back. When the infected stops to eat worms, Spike readies his bow and shoots an arrow, striking its neck for a quick kill. Another one sneaks up from behind, but Jamie reacts fast and takes it down with his own shot. The noise draws in more creatures. Jamie kills another, but Spike tells him to let the last one go. Jamie feels proud of his son, though Spike can't shake the strange feeling that comes with killing. They continue deeper into the forest, where peaceful animals briefly remind them of the world before. Their walk leads them to an abandoned house. Inside, they find a horrifying sight: an infected hanging upside down with a bag over its head, letters carved across its back. Jamie guesses the man was once human, captured and left as bait, only to turn later. He insists Spike should put it down, but the boy hesitates, too shaken by the sight. The infected breaks free, forcing Spike to act out of fear. His arrow finds the head, ending it instantly. They press on and soon discover a half-eaten animal. Spike looks up to see its head and spine nailed high to a tree. For the first time that day, Jamie's calm fades. Only an alpha could have done this. Urging silence, he makes Spike pick up the pace. The forest opens into a field where a horde of infected appears, led by the towering alpha. Father and son race back among the trees, arrows flying as Jamie teaches Spike to aim while moving, always striking for the head or the heart. They retreat to the abandoned house, firing at those who chase them, until they manage to climb into the attic and bar the entrance. Hidden away, they watch the alpha linger outside, refusing to leave. Jamie explains the truth: alphas are larger, smarter, and nearly impossible to kill without many arrows. With their quivers empty, waiting is their only choice. Spike feels ashamed for missing shots and freezing in fear, but Jamie reassures him he has done incredibly well for his first real fight. Night falls. A distant light signals the quarantine patrol, while flames burn on the other side. Spike grows curious, but Jamie avoids the topic. Sleep eventually claims the boy, though it brings a nightmare: his mother drowning, the ground trembling. Suddenly, Jamie shakes him awake. The house itself is collapsing. They dash outside, barely escaping as the roof crashes down. Knowing the noise will draw more infected, they sprint toward home. At the causeway, high tide has flooded the path, but the water is still shallow enough to cross. Birds scatter overhead as the alpha steps onto the causeway, chasing them. Spike slips in the water, but Jamie grabs him each time, urging him on. Together, soaked and breathless, they push forward and finally reach solid ground. Jamie blew a whistle loudly to alert the guards at the gate. The group turned on the lights, trying to find the alpha creature. They shot arrows to bring it down. When it quickly recovered, they lit the next arrow on fire before shooting. The flaming arrow finally brought the alpha down, and Jamie was able to drag his son to safety. Jenny made them wait a few moments to ensure they weren't infected before opening the gate to let them in. Later, at a celebration party, everyone cheered Spike's return and his first kill. Jamie recounted the full story, but Spike felt uneasy about celebrating so much violence. The crowd lifted him on a chair and allowed him to drink. Eventually, overwhelmed, Spike rushed outside to vomit. While outside, he saw Jamie sneaking around with another woman. Spike was heartbroken witnessing his father's affair. When he returned home, Sam was watching over a sleeping Isla. Spike shared his adventure and asked Sam about the fire he had seen. Sam suggested it might have been Dr. Kelson, noting that Jamie had refused to talk about him for a reason, but he didn't explain further. The next morning, Isla woke with a headache and asked for medicine, but Spike didn't know where to find any. Jamie returned, and Spike couldn't bear looking at him, so he left the room. After a few minutes, Spike mustered the courage to ask Jamie why Kelson hadn't checked on Isla. Jamie explained that Kelson had gone insane long ago and shared what happened when they tried to visit him 15 years earlier. Jamie and a group of foragers had found thousands of bodies neatly arranged around a large fire. Kelson appeared to be taking the bodies to the flames and even waved at them, forcing the group to flee in terror. Spike insisted that Isla needed help and confronted Jamie about the affair. Jamie slapped him, instantly regretting it. Spike ran upstairs to Isla's side. When Jamie tried to follow, Spike pulled a knife and warned him to stay away. Jamie disarmed him easily but returned the knife, choosing not to escalate the situation. Later, Spike set a barn on fire and ran to warn the guards, telling them everyone in town needed help putting out the flames. He promised to keep watch while the adults helped, but as soon as he was alone, he took Isla and escaped through the gate toward the mainland. Isla panicked, calling for Jamie and her father, but Spike calmed her, assuring her that a doctor would help. After walking all day, they found a building to spend the night. Isla grew bored from keeping watch and woke Spike to share stories from before the outbreak, noting that he resembled her father. As they talked, she began calling Spike Dad. Spike told her to sleep while he kept watch, but exhaustion overcame him, and he fell asleep. An infected creature entered the building, tried to eat his shoelaces, and spat them out when it realized they weren't food. The creature lunges toward Spike's face, but just as it's about to bite, someone yanks it back. Spike wakes up, thinking it was all a dream, yet the dead body of the infected lies nearby. Isla claims she doesn't know what happened, but a flashback reveals she smashed the infected's head against a statue. Meanwhile, a group of soldiers is being chased by a horde of infected. They fire at the creatures as best they can, but many are wounded, and their ammunition is running low. The infected catch up, biting some of the soldiers and turning them as well. The remaining soldiers are forced to shoot their transformed teammates, and only 3 manage to escape. They reach a tunnel and close the gate, shooting any infected that come too close. As they move further inside, an alpha attacks, killing one soldier by tearing his head off and using it to strike another. The third soldier fires at more infected before fleeing the tunnel. Back with Isla and Spike, they continue their journey, navigating Isla's confusing delusions. At an old statue, Isla talks to Spike as if he were her father. A nosebleed draws the attention of an infected, but Spike quickly kills it with an arrow. Blood splashes on Isla's forehead, and Spike rushes to clean it before she can touch it. Soon, more infected arrive, and the pair runs, Spike shooting arrows to keep them at bay. They reach a gas station, struggling with the door until they finally get inside. The room fills with fumes, making it hard to breathe. The infected follow, surrounding them in a dead end, but a ceiling hatch opens, and Soldier Eric instructs them to hide. Eric fires at the infected, and contact with the fumes triggers a huge explosion, burning all the creatures. Spike and Isla, safely hidden, remain unharmed. Once the path is clear, they leave the building. Isla vomits and suffers a headache, while Eric, seeking guidance, panics when Spike has no answers. He decides to join them, even offering to carry Isla as they travel. After several hours, the group stops to rest and eat some apples. Eric tries his phone but finds no signal and little battery. Spike, having never seen a phone, is shown how it works and shown a picture of Eric's girlfriend. Mistaking her for someone strange due to his lack of knowledge about plastic surgery, Spike is curious. The battery dies, and Eric discards the phone. The journey continues, but Isla suddenly leaves the group after hearing a mysterious noise, leaving Spike and Eric behind. She follows the trail to an abandoned train filled with rats and is shocked to find a pregnant infected woman inside. At first, the infected woman is aggressive, but Isla shows her she means no harm and helps her give birth. When the boys arrive, Isla guides Spike to cut the umbilical cord and washes the baby with water. Suddenly, the infected woman roars and lunges forward. Eric shoots her dead immediately. He then aims to kill the baby, but Spike and Isla quickly realize the child is human. Before Eric can act, a massive infected hand bursts through the ceiling and drags him out. The infected leaps inside, revealing itself as an alpha, and Eric's head is inside it. Seeing the dead infected enrages the alpha, which starts chasing the humans. Spike fires arrows, which barely wound it but slow it down enough for them to escape the train. Spike, Isla, and the baby manage to get off the train, with the Alpha following. Just then, Dr. Kelson arrives and knocks the Alpha out with a sedative dart. He introduces himself and explains that he covers his body in iodine to protect himself from the virus. He names the Alpha Samson and keeps Eric's head as a warning. Kelson has lived in the area for 3 years, usually keeping his distance. Spike asks Kelson to help his mother, and he agrees to take them to his bone temple, a shrine he built to honor the dead. The temple is made of thousands of bones tied into pillars, with skulls stacked into towers. Kelson treats both humans and infected alike, seeing similarities between them. Eric's head is burned in the fire, and once cleaned, Spike adds it to the tower. Kelson examines Isla and discovers that she has terminal cancer. Isla quietly accepts her fate while Spike panics, unable to understand that no medicine can save her. She comforts Spike and admits she had suspected her illness for some time. Keeping Spike distracted, Isla gestures for Kelson to grant her a peaceful death. Kelson teaches Spike about memento mori and memento amoris, reminding him that everyone must die but should cherish love while alive. Isla places the baby in Spike's arms before following Kelson into the forest, where he ends her suffering. Spike remembers all his happy moments with his mother until Kelson returns with her clean skull. He places the baby in Kelson's care, then climbs the bone tower and positions Isla's skull at the very top as the sun rises. The next morning, Samson appears in the field. Kelson quickly pushes the children into a hidden pit for safety. Samson tries to remove the lid but fails and gives up. Believing they are safe, the group is shaken when Samson returns, breaking through the wood and grabbing Kelson, choking him. Spike acts fast, using one of Kelson's sedative needles to inject Samson, instantly putting him to sleep and saving Kelson. Afterward, Spike returns to town carrying the baby in a basket. He names her Isla and leaves her outside the gate with a note for Jenny. The note is delivered to Jamie, who reads it and learns that Spike has gone and doesn't want to be found. The letter also explains that Kelson isn't crazy and that the baby is healthy. Panicked, Jamie rushes to find his son, but the tide is too high, and he can't get far. 28 days later, Spike is wandering the mainland, surviving by hunting animals. When an infected creature approaches him, he takes it down with a single shot. More creatures are coming, forcing Spike to flee. He reaches a large rock wall, and though one infected finds him there, he quickly kills it. Suddenly, a noise catches his attention. Spike turns to see an older Jimmy, wearing his father's cross. Jimmy is impressed by Spike's skill and reveals that he has his own team. As more infected appear, the group jumps off the wall and fights together, taking down the creatures within minutes. They laugh as they fight, enjoying the thrill of defeating the infected. After the battle, Jimmy cheers in victory and tells Spike that they should be friends. If you enjoyed this sci-fi movie recap, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.